Welcome to the energy update for March 2025. In the month of March, we have the Spring Equinox, and it is a really beautiful opportunity to look at the balance in life. The Spring Equinox is a time where we see equal time of day and night. And for me, that always leads me into a place of exploring if the cup is half full or if the cup is half empty. If you're in my world and you know me at all, then you know that I talk a lot about the stories that we tell ourselves. I'm a huge believer that we will take a small number of facts and we create a story around those small number of facts. And the story that we tell makes the meaning out of the human experience. And that meaning that we make out of the human experience creates a way that we feel. And so when we look at, is the cup half full or is the cup half empty? The question there really is, what story do you tell? We all have experiences in life on repeat every day. And we get to decide what story we tell around whatever experience it is that we're having. We get to tell if the cup is half empty or if the cup is half full. And so the spring equinox always feels like this opportunity to explore the stories that we're telling around life and the experiences that we're having. And I am a huge believer in being present with the truth and possibility at the same time. And I think that the stories that we tell can lead us into a place of possibility and expansion, or can lead us into a place of contraction and scarcity. We get to pick. Then I'm going to give you an example. I've been having meetings with the school district that I live in around some educational needs for a couple of my children. And I get to see these experiences as an opportunity for connection, for belonging, for growth, for allowing uniqueness and authenticity to lead. Or I can view these experiences as contraction, exclusion, and a way to demonstrate that authenticity and uniqueness is not respected. The story that I tell is largely going to impact how I feel about the experiences that I'm having myself and my children. And those stories that I tell create a feeling. That feeling leads me into engaging with the school district in one way versus another. And when I tell the story that this is an opportunity for belonging, for connection, it leads me into a place where I want to work with the school district rather than against the school district. And that's a really great example for me in my life about, is the cup half empty or is it half full? Either way, whatever it is that I decide about how it is that I'm going to see this dynamic in this situation is going to impact the way that I feel. I can choose to feel supported. I can choose to feel aligned. Or I could choose to feel that this is out of alignment. I can choose to feel unsupported. And I believe wholeheartedly that if we want our lives to feel a specific way, We need to be mindful of the stories that we're telling ourselves. There is a massive amount of scientific research out there that shows that our brains filter out what we tell it is important to be filtered. So if we are looking for the opportunity to belong, if we are looking for the opportunity for connection, then our brain is going to pick out the places of belonging, the places of connection. And if we tell our mind and our nervous system that we don't belong, that there's a lack of belonging or a lack of connection, then our brain is going to pick out the places that we don't belong and that there isn't connection. And by definition, wherever it is that our mind or nervous system is pointing out what we tell it's important to point out to us, it's going to feel overwhelming in that direction. There's a beautiful saying that the man who thinks that he can and the man who thinks that he can't are both correct. What you tell your brain, what you tell your nervous system to pick out for evidence to support the stories that you are telling yourself, your brain and your nervous system will point out to you. You tell your brain what to point out. And I'm not sitting here trying to suggest that it is easy to shift the stories that you're telling your mind and your nervous system to point out and pick out for you. That takes work. If you are used to pointing out the places of scarcity or lack in your life, it is going to take active work to learn how to point out the places of abundance in your life. But that's beautiful work that you get to do. It's your right as a human to decide how you want to feel and how you want your life to feel. When you look at a cup, you get to decide, is that half full or is that half empty? What do I want my brain to point out to me? And this is the piece that I think a lot of us miss, is that we tell our brain what to point out and pick out. And so it's a real opportunity to really sit with, what are you telling your brain and your nervous system to pick out? And is it aligned with the way that you want to feel? If it's not aligned with the way that you want to feel, tell your mind and your nervous system to point out different things. And I'm not suggesting that you should pretend that resistance isn't there when there's resistance. When there's resistance in my reality, I give it just as much time and space as the places in my life where I'm experiencing flow. But I'm looking at the resistance as an opportunity to find flow. If the universe is saying this is not the path for you, I can get stuck sitting in that spot saying, oh, there's no path. Or I can say, great, this is not the path for me. I can be present with the resistance that is happening in my reality and recognize that this is not the path for me. But the story that I create from that space is going to determine how I feel. I can say, oh, there is no path for me. See, another blocked path. Or I can say, awesome, I'm one step closer to finding the path that I want to be on, the path that feels aligned. I'm one step closer to finding flow. That's the space where I get to tell the story. Don't pretend that there isn't resistance where there's resistance. I am just as present with resistance in my reality as I am with flow. But what is the story that I'm telling when I bump up against resistance? And for me, the story that I tell is that it's an opportunity for me to go find flow, and that it's one step closer to finding the pathway of flow in my life, the pathway of alignment in my life. And instead of bumping up against the resistance and pretending that it's not there, or continuing to push in the places of resistance, I view it as an opportunity to adjust, to change my mindset, the stories that I'm telling, my reality, and to find the places of flow in my life. If I tell the story that when I bump up against resistance, that it means that there is no place of flow in my life, that I can't find the pathway to flow, that's a really contracted way of me engaging with the human experience. But if I say, oh man, I'm one step closer to finding flow because I have found another spot of resistance, which is simply the opportunity to readjust into deeper alignment, into deeper flow. That's the way that I want to feel. That's the story that I want to tell. And I get to pick how I want to feel. And the way that I pick and choose the way that I want to feel is the stories that I am telling myself. And so as we step into the month of March, you have this unique opportunity to sit with, is your cup half empty? Or is your cup half full? And it's okay if your cup is half empty. That's going to make you feel a specific way. And you get the right to feel that way. And it's okay if you tell the story that the cup is half full. That's going to make you feel a way. And you get the right to feel that way. I just want to provide you with the opportunity to really ask yourself, are the stories that you are telling yourself making you feel the way that you want to feel? And if not, you get the right to change the stories that you're telling, which will change the way that you are feeling. And when we change the way that we are feeling, we change our frequency and our vibration. And then through law of attraction, we are going to attract back experiences, people, blessings of a similar frequency. And so if you really want to change your life, you really want to change the stories that you're telling. And you get to do that. It's your right as a human to tell different stories and to feel a different way and to attract different experiences and people and blessings into your life that are at the frequency of the stories that you're telling. So as we sink into the month of March, I want to invite you to explore. Are you telling the kinds of stories that you want to be telling? And are you feeling the way that you want to be feeling? We really appreciate you being here with us, and I hope that you have a beautiful month of March 2025.